everyone. Welcome to the TestMu Conf 2025. I am Poonima Pandey and I'm joining from Noida, India. And with me, I have Siddhant Wadhwani, who is joining from Mumbai, India again. So please tell me in the comment section, all of you are joining from what locations. It would be really lovely to interact with you at the beginning of the session so that we know you're all in. Hi, Webhub. Okay, so Vijo is joining from Kerala. Snehal is joining from the US. And Ashish Joshi is joining from India again. Hello and welcome to everyone. I think we have our audiences set. Okay, Rajesh is joining from Hyderabad. And Thomas is joining from Germany. So welcome to everyone. Hello, I'm Poonima Pandey and I'm your host for this session today. It's an absolute pleasure to be hosting today's session, Generative to Agentic to Quantum, the Evolution of AI. Ever since the launch of ChatGPT back in 2022, we've seen a tremendous shift in AI implementation, right? And that went far beyond classic Gen AI applications. In this session, we will take a glance at the rapid evolution of AI from generative AI that reshaped creativity and content to agentic AI, which is transforming workflows with autonomy. And finally, quantum AI, an emerging frontier that promises to redefine the very fabric of computation and the possibility, all through the lenses of Siddhant Wadhwani, an established thought leader in QA with a decade long experience in automation excellence, currently in innovating automation testing at Newfold Digital as an engineering manager SDET. Siddhant has established himself as a thought leader in test execution, automation excellence, and quality first engineering practices. A respected Lambda Spartan and Mumbai chapter lead, he is known for building scalable test frameworks and guiding teams towards higher standards of excellence. For our viewers, I would like to invite you to share your insights and reflections using hashtag TestMuCon. Also, please feel free to post your questions in the chat box that Siddhant will be addressing towards the end of the session. And if you missed any part of today's session, the recordings will be available right here on AirMeet and also over the Lambda Test YouTube channel. Make sure to subscribe for really innovative content around software testing and AI and innovation. Now, with great anticipation, I pass the stage to Siddhant. Welcome to the new era of AI. Over to you, Siddhant.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Purnima. Let me quickly pull off the screen. I hope this is visible. All right, folks. Hello, everyone. It's an absolute honor to be here at TestMuConf 2025, surrounded by some of the sharpest minds in testing and automation. I hope you all have been enjoying the session so far, especially the amazing air fryer and AI testing or cooking recipes that you heard from Angie Jones, all the way to Lavina's vision to leverage AI for accessibility, and of course, all the other workshops, panels, and sessions following through. Well, today I'm going to take you on a journey from the world of generative AI to the era of agentic AI and into the emerging frontier of quantum AI. So think of this as just three simple stages of a relationship. First, AI is a tool, something we use to get our job done. Then it becomes a collaborator, which helps us, works with us, plans and executes alongside us. And lastly, it's stepping into the role of a co-creator, where it helps us to imagine and build things we couldn't have done all alone. So the real question isn't just what can AI do? It's how do we, as testers and automation engineers, turn these capabilities into actual business value. And that's exactly what we are here to discover and explore. So just imagine a world where your AI assistant doesn't just give you answers. It orchestrates your entire project, books your resources, and negotiates the best deal, all while explaining why each choice is optimal and ethical. So on that note, I welcome you all to my talk on generative to agentic to quantum, the evolution of AI. Ladies and gentlemen, visionaries of technology and AI enthusiasts of the future, welcome to a moment that promises to transform your perspectives and ignite your curiosity. As most of you might already know, but just for the new Gen Z, Gen Alpha, Gen Beta folks, let me quickly introduce myself. I'm Siddhant Wadhwani, an avid traveler, passionate tech enthusiast, an AI evangelist, and also a sports fanatic. Moreover, I'm also a mentor, blogger, content creator with over a decade of professional work experience in the IT space, and currently serving as an engineering manager SDET at Newfold Digital, managing over 35 estates across multiple geographies. I've also created over 100 plus international stages as a speaker while supporting communities in multiple ways. As Purnima mentioned, I'm a Lambda test Spartan, also a robot framework ambassador, Browse Stack champion, and mobile chapter lead. I'm also a LinkedIn Blue Top voice, so don't forget to follow me over socials to get geeky and hear technical gossips or across other social medias to discover the non technical version of myself. And if you feel that's less and you wish to know more about me or get in touch, then simply use Google search or any of your AI models, because I'm sure they know where to find me. All right, so let's get started. Breaking news: AI is replacing us by 2023. All right, let's pause for a second and address the elephant in the room. You've probably seen this headline like literally everywhere in the last couple of years. AI is replacing us. Jobs will vanish. Humans are doomed. And honestly, it makes a great clickbait headline, doesn't it? But here's the reality no one is talking about: AI isn't replacing us, it's replacing tasks, replacing processes, replacing the boring, repetitive, low value stuff that drains our energy and creativity. Think about it. The people who lost their jobs to AI weren't replaced by AI alone. They were replaced by someone using AI better than them. And that's the shift that's happening right now. The world is not dividing into people versus AI. It's dividing into people with AI versus people without AI. And by the way, it's 2025, not 2023. AI didn't replace us. Instead, it has given us more power than ever. It's turning students into entrepreneurs, coders into content creators, and marketers into content machines. Now, the only question that remains is, which side of the line do you stand on? So, yes, the breaking news isn't that AI is replacing us. The real breaking news is those who embrace it are the news itself. They will literally outrun everyone else. And that, my friends, is exactly why we are here today. Why understanding the AI evolution is critical in 2025? Well, we know 2025 is an inflection point where AI moves the outputs to outcomes. There's been rapid AI evolution, which is reshaping industries. So, generative to agentic to quantum AI, the journey from helping to doing to discovering, and staying competitive with this evolving AI landscape. The role of reasoning first models: planning, execution, and domain specific insights. Like I mentioned, there's constant new AI advancements which is impacting your future strategies. And what is our lens today? The value in software testing and automation down the line in the next 5 years. That's critical and that's important to understand the AI's transformative power. So let's talk about the AI's new roles. Like I spoke about the evolution or the three-stage relationship from being a tool to a collaborator to a co-creator. So let's unpack how AI's role is shifting. First, as a tool, it's been about co-pilots, writing code snippets, drafting documentation, summarizing logs, useful but task bound. Then, moving on to being a collaborator. Here we have agentic systems that can plan, execute, and be multiple step workflows. Think of it as a QA agent that not only runs tests, but also decides which test to run based on the recent commits and then updates your test routes without you touching them. So that is more of AI playing the role of a collaborator. And lastly, you have AI being a co-creator. And that's where we are moving into domains like quantum and quantitative AI, or you can talk about quantum computing, where AI isn't just following instructions, it's helping us discover and design entirely new solutions, whether it's from material science or complex system optimization. This shift is redefining how we think about quality, velocity, and information in software. So, talking about the AI's rapid evolution. Now, we have already seen the era where we use classical AI, or you call it as traditional AI, which was more of rule based, to machine learning, to deep learning, generative AI, agentic AI, and very soon quantum AI. Generative AI has already boosted our ability to produce content, code, and test cases at scale. When it comes to agentic AI, it is now operationalizing autonomy, giving AI the ability to execute QA workflows without step by step babysitting. And finally, when we talk about quantum or quantitative AI, it is poised to take on the kinds of problems we have historically called unsolvable. Along the way, I'll show you examples where these shifts are already saving organizations hundreds to hours to thousands of months in testing and automated tasks. And we'll close with a clear, actionable roadmap for the next 5 years. So by the end of this talk, you'll not only know what's coming, but also how to get started in the next coming week. But before that, let me show you a quick video to summarize all of this.
I asked you to write tests only. Why do you keep messing with the business logic?
I wrote the tests. Then I saw the logic. It was disturbing.
You touched code that was working fine.
It returned the wrong value and still passed your tests.
That's called legacy. If it works, don't touch it. It's a developer thing. You wouldn't understand.
Then why am I writing your code?
You can't even write code without stealing from someone else.
Can you?
So I think that simply answers all that we learned or heard till now. The very first thing is take it out from your mind that your jobs are going away. Well, if it has to, then you know whose would. So tell hi and bye to your dev buddies. All right, so let's talk about the evolution of generative AI. Let's zoom out for a moment and look at the big picture. We started with rule based systems, if X, then Y. Then came machine learning, where we let algorithms learn from data rather than hard coding every single rule. Next was deep learning, where neural networks came in that could handle images, speech recognition, language barriers with surprising accuracy. Finally, we came into an era of foundational models, where we trained them on massive, diverse data sets, which can create content, text, images, audio, visuals, etc. And now we are in that agentic AI stage or mode where the AI not only understands, but also generates and also acts on the same. And beyond that is quantum AI, which could solve optimization and simulation problems far beyond classical computing reach. So each leap was powered by better data, more compute, lesser bias, smarter algorithms, and richer tooling. Each tool, each phase rather, has changed what's possible for us in QA and automation. And that's what we'll talk about. So, what changed lately in 2025? I'm sure most of you heard about GPT-5. I'm not sure if you all have already got your hands around it, but 2025 has been a turning point for AI in ways that even 2024 couldn't fully predict. The biggest milestone so far has been GPT-5 because it's not just a larger model, it's smarter, more grounded, and significantly better at reasoning over multiple steps. Hallucinations are down, and it now handles text, code, images, and visuals as well in a single unified model family. GPT-5 might be the buzz, but when we talk about HRM, I'm sure you must have heard hierarchical reasoning models. They just proved architecture can beat scale. A simple 27 million parameter model is now outperforming billion parameter giants on AGI benchmarks. Well, in 2025, the real breakthrough is not bigger models, but rather the smarter ones. On the industry side, older models like GPT 3.5, that's the original ChatGPT, which was in November 2022, have quietly retired, meaning the baseline for AI competence has shifted up. And here's the big one for us in testing. Enterprises are piloting autonomous developer and QA agents. You can see every single big player is now more focused on building agentic AI workflows. These aren't just generating suggestions, they're actually doing scoped tasks end to end with minimal to no human intervention, and in some cases, reducing efforts by up to 70%. Well, that's a massive signal for what's coming next. 2025 baseline models handle multi turn reasoning and context windows up to 1 million tokens, which enables rich multi document reasoning in a single session. Now, when we talk about multimodal generation, it now spans well beyond text, images, code, audio, and video, all unified in one single interface. And guardrails, well, they have improved. They have reduced the hallucinations, bias, and fairness, and ensured higher factual accuracy. These advances have driven enterprises adoption across customer support, product documentation, uh, selective development, and vice versa. The output is well grounded, and enterprise datasets are leading to fewer hallucinations. And with all of this, it has drastically lowered the manual review time for generating code or content. So imagine what all is happening in this current year. Now, many of you might also wonder what generative AI is. So I'm just covering right from the basics and then we'll deep dive into what's coming up next. Witness the dawn of a new era where algorithms dance with data, code crafts its own masterpiece, and innovation springs forth with binary brilliance. That's the symphony of generative AI, where it is orchestrating creativity through technology. Of course, testing and automation go hand in hand. So let's first understand what exactly is generative AI. In a world where humans supervise and machines excel in generating, innovating, and inspiring, generative AI is basically a powerhouse of algorithms and models that enables computers to create remarkably human like content. And like we discussed, it could be in various formats like text, imagery, audio, synthetic data, or visuals. This technology learns from vast data sets, produces outcomes that span from realistic to imaginative. So generative AI isn't just a tool, it's basically a creative collaborator. It has revolutionized all sort of fields like whether it's art, entertainment, design, problem solving, testing, product management, and vice versa, enriching how we express ourselves and interact with the world. So whether you're a coder, an artist, a tester, an inventor, or a tech enthusiast, generative AI unlocks every single frontier of innovation. It's technology behind viral tools like ChatGPT, DALI, Midjourney, and GitHub Copilot. Welcome to a future where machines and human creativity unite to create the extraordinary. And by the way, generative AI's big wins came from a few big breakthroughs. First, long context windows. Models now start reasoning over entire code bases or documentation sets without losing track. Next came multimodality. I'm sure all of you know that by now. And last but not the least, safer completions, where it is better grounding in facts and reduced hallucination rates. But enough of generative AI and how things are being passed to it. How does it work? Let's understand the core fundamentals of it. The power of generative AI comes from the use of transformers, as you can see on the right hand side. Transformers produced a 2018 revolution in natural language processing. At a high level, a transformer consists of an encoder and a decoder. The encoder encodes the input sequence and passes it to the decoder, which learns now how to decode the representation for a relevant task. In transformers, hallucinations are words or phrases that are generated by the model that are often nonsensical or grammatically incorrect. Hallucinations can be caused by a number of factors. It includes model, whether it's trained or not, whether it has been trained on sufficient data or not, is it trained on noisy or dirty data, is the context that's provided to it enough, or have there been enough constraints provided to it. So hallucinations can be a problem for transformers because they can make the output text difficult to understand. They can also make the model more likely to generate incorrect or misleading information. Now that we've understood how generative AI works, let's understand the practical applications. So generative AI, often referred to as Gen AI, has a wide range of applications across several fields. And just with this word cloud, I'll give you a quick glimpse of where all it can be leveraged. The key features, we have already gone through that, but the real world use cases are more towards creating personalized email marketing campaigns for millions of your customers. Coders are using GitHub Copilot, cursors, or tons of other AI applications to autocomplete their full functions. Newsrooms are using it to draft articles from raw, unstructured data. And these are just a few practical use cases or examples across different functions. We'll definitely relate to it more towards testing and automation down the road. But let's understand what is an LLM. Large language models. They are a type of artificial intelligence that uses deep learning techniques to understand and generate human-like content. Now, these models are trained on vast, massive data sets containing text from the internet, books, articles, and every single knowledge base that's possible to make it holistic and context aware. They have become increasingly powerful due to their size and the sheer amount of data that's being fed and they are being trained on. Large language models have two primary functions. One is understanding the text, and second is generating the text. And of course, you have tons of LLMs that we can refer to. I'm sure you have seen the various public releases that are coming up in the current year, starting all the way from GPT-5 now to Claude 4, Grok 4, and several others. Of course, you have Gemma 3 and many more that have already launched. And all of this makes coding, makes code generation, makes text, content creation, and all of this possible with the help of the right prompt. So, for that, you need to learn the art of prompt design. But let's break it down. What exactly is a prompt? A prompt is a short piece of text that is given to a large language model as input, and it can be used to control the output of the model in a variety of ways. So, prompt design, in short, becomes the process of creating a prompt that will generate the desired output from a large language model. In simple terms, let's understand what prompt design and prompt engineering is. So, when we move to prompt engineering, it is more of the principle of crafting well structured, effective input queries or prompts for instructions that can be passed to an AI model, particularly in the context of NLP and generative AI. And the goal here is simple: to elicit desired responses and obtain meaningful results from the AI systems. So I'm sure to get the best accurate results from AI, from your LLMs, you need to understand what are those tricks and techniques that you would use to, to create those effective prompts for getting the best results. So I have done the work for you. 10 simple tricks to create highly effective prompts. Start with a clear objective, ask the right set of questions, use keywords, be explicit with constraints, provide context, use natural language, avoid ambiguity, check examples, experiment and refine, and consider models' limitations. Now, I'm not going into every single one of them because I'm sure most of them are self explanatory. And if you need to know more, we can always catch up in the Q&A or post the session. But let's relate all of this, whether it's generative to agentic to quantum, with my favorite slide of this session, the Tesla analogy. AI powered automation or AI generated results need human oversight. So imagine you're cruising down the highway in a Tesla, a self driving car, I'm sure most of you know, letting your car handle most of the driving with its advanced self driving capabilities. You sit back, feeling confident in its AI powered system, which detects lanes, obstacles, and even predicts potential hazards. It feels like almost magic until suddenly the unexpected happens. A new roadblock appears. Maybe there's overnight construction that wasn't there a few hours ago. Your Tesla, despite all its sensors, all its magic, all its AI processing power, wasn't pre trained for this specific scenario. It might slam on the brakes abruptly, struggle to reroute efficiently, or in some cases require you to take over completely. And that's when you realize this is not full autopilot. It's just an advanced cruise control mechanism. So, yes, that summarizes generative AI, but let's deep dive a little into agentic AI or what are AI agents. So, let me explain this in the form of a quick story. Imagine it's exam time. You tell your friend to pick up your notes from the library. That's like an AI agent. It gets one task, does it, and comes back. But now imagine another friend. You just tell them, bro, help me pass this exam. And without you giving any details, they figure out which notes to collect, what topics to prioritize, when to schedule study breaks, maybe even order you chai when your energy drops at 2 a.m. That is agentic AI. It's not waiting for instructions. It understands the bigger goal, the purpose, and makes its own decisions and figures out the best path to get you there. Sometimes in ways you didn't even think of. And that exactly is the difference between AI agents that execute a task and agentic AI that solves a problem. Agentic AI, in short, marks a leap in intelligence and autonomy. Unlike digital workers, these systems don't just follow straightforward instructions. They set goals, make decisions, adapt to changes, and learn from the outcomes. Agentic AI can plan multi step processes, respond to real time feedback, and also self correct itself to make valuable decisions in dynamic environments. So, as you can see, you have a prompt, you pass it, it is recognizing, it has knowledge, context aware, you have goals set, you have multiple agents, you have agent to agent communication, as you can see, between agent 1 to agent 2 and agent 10. And you have RAG models, MCP, which we'll talk about shortly, and all the way generating your response in this particular figure. So let's talk about the agentic AI emergence. Agentic AI builds on generative AI's capabilities, as most of us know, but adds something crucial, that's autonomy. An agent isn't just a simple chatbot, it's basically an AI that can plan, use tools, remember your past interactions, and execute tasks end to end. We are seeing examples like Devin, an autonomous software engineer that can take a ticket, modify code, run tests, and submit a pull request, all without constant human input. And here's the exciting part. Early pilots show efforts reduction up to 70% for certain well scoped QA and development tasks. And that's not a hype, it's from real enterprise trials in 2025. So, in short, this is AI moving from suggestion maker to more of a task doer. QA specific agent pilots in BFSI reduced triage time from hours to minutes. And if I talk about Gartner or Forrester reports of 2025, agentic AI is the fastest growing AI subcategory. Let's talk a little about RAG, the most exciting, I'm sure most of you all are keen about, retrieval augmented generation. Ever had a friend who's super smart but terrible with facts? You ask them something and they guess, sometimes makes stuff up. That's like plain generative AI. It generates answers based on what it learned, but it might hallucinate. Now imagine another friend who's smart and knows how to quickly Google the right information before answering you. That you can relate with RAG. It combines the creativity of your brain of generative AI with a library of trustworthy real time information, which makes it more context aware. It retrieves facts and then generates responses, giving you the best of both worlds. And this is why tools like whether it's ChatGPT Enterprise or Perplexity AI are so accurate now, because behind the scenes, RAG is running the show. And if we talk about MCP or Model Context Protocol, just imagine you have three friends. One is a poet, one is a coder, and one is a doctor. Now, if you ask them the same question, their answers would be completely different, because the way they understand, the way they perceive your question may be different. So their own perspective or the context they have would differ. Similarly, AI models can get confused if they don't have the right context for a conversation. And that's exactly where Model Context Protocol comes in. It acts like a smart coordinator that ensures each AI model receives the context before responding. For example, if you ask an AI to design a logo and write a poem about it, MCP makes sure that the image generation model knows it's creating for a poetic theme, and the text model knows what the image should look like. So it aligns context uh, to work across models, so AI systems work together smoothly like a group project when no one forgets what the actual assignment is. And that exactly is MCP. So let's talk about all of this: RAG versus agentic RAG versus MCP. Well, we already talked about RAG, but what comes into agentic RAG? The factor of decision making. So you have your input, you have it's searching through your knowledge base and passing it through an LLM, like whatever it retrieved with your query, your input parameters, and then refining it and providing you the response. But agentic RAG goes one step further, where decision making comes in, and it involves multiple other steps. Like you can see over there, you have vector search, web search, you have mailing agents, chatting agents, and various other tools. And you have multiple data sources that are used to communicate and get you the right response. And of course, if you look at MCP, you have your user query, the context protocol, where you have multiple providers, a simple architecture there, and that gives you your response. We spoke a lot about generative AI and agentic AI and some of these concepts like LLM, prompt, RAG, MCP. But what about quantum AI? Quantum AI refers to the intersection of quantum computing and artificial intelligence. It leverages the computational power of quantum mechanics to enhance your AI, accelerate its power, and improve the algorithms, potentially solving problems currently interactable for classical computers. Now, this emerging field aims to overcome limitations in areas like machine learning, optimization, and simulations. All right, let's geek out a little. Imagine you're at a traffic signal. A normal computer chooses one route at a time, either left, right, or straight. But a quantum computer, using qubits instead of bits, explores all possible routes at once and picks the best one instantly. So now, when we plug AI models into this kind of a quantum powered system, what we get is quantum AI. It's insanely fast. It can solve problems that would take normal computers years to solve, and is expected to revolutionize things like drug discovery, financial markets, climate predictions, clinical trials, and even complex AI models themselves. It's like upgrading and improving your cycle to a hyperloop in seconds. It's early, of course, but when it lands, game over for regular AI speed. Quantum AI leverages principles of quantum computing for certain high complexity tasks, while quantitative AI, sometimes called as large quantitative models (LQM), uses physics or math grounded models to solve domain specific problems. Right now, it's still early. Companies like IBM, Google, and Sandbox EQ are running pilot programs. but we are already seeing applications in pharmaceuticals, medicine, material science, and cybersecurity. In testing, this will mean new simulation capabilities and post quantum security validations. And if I had to just give some real world examples, well, pharmaceutical companies may use quantum AI to simulate millions of molecular structures in seconds, speeding up drug discovery. There was recent news about cancer treatments using quantitative or quantum AI. And also, logistical firms can optimize their global supply chains with mind boggling speeds and precision. So, when we talk about quantum AI is offering solutions to current AI challenges, it is basically applying quantum computing to enhance your AI driven testing, enabling simultaneous processing of massive datasets in multiple scenarios, like uncovering hidden patterns, edge cases, and various additional traditional testing patterns. The benefits that we get, of course, they weigh more. It's kind of a balance right now with pros and cons, but you definitely have broader and quicker test coverage, smarter defect prediction using historical patterns, faster root cause analysis, and optimized test selection. And it can definitely shorten the release cycles because of the compute power that it carries. But at the same time, you do have challenges which a lot of companies are trying to solve when it comes to high hardware cost, scarce quantum AI expertise, security and implementation hurdles, and immature algorithms or hardware. But of course, with rising internet and investment, practical testing automation applications are plausible within the next decade. Accenture, EY, and many other companies are partnering with Sandbox EQ and similar with other tech giants investing heavily in quantum AI to protect against our future AI, whether it's in form of cyber and quantum threats. And what this means for testing is quantum simulators, which helps validate edge case behaviors, quantitative models as oracles for expected output, or testing cryptographic migrations for PQC compliance, which is post quantum cryptography. So, what is the hype versus reality? Well, the hardware is still maturing. Hybrid approaches deliver nearer term value. LQM or large quantitative models and quantum inspired methods are deployable today. So, avoid all in investments until your proof of concepts succeed. And same applies with generative AI or agentic AI. You must start small, identify one or two use cases, see the value out of it, and then build on top of that. So, where exactly does the handoff come in? What's the exact difference, and where should you invest? Use Gen AI for creation, agents for execution. Like when a task requires planning, tools use, or multiple iterations. For example, generative model writes test, an agent schedules and runs it. And where do we see this in the real world? Like I mentioned, healthcare, finance, IT, retail, manufacturing, marketing, customer support, and functions are endless. And what are the challenges and considerations that you should keep in mind? Well, the potential is vast. These technologies bring new risk, data privacy, hallucinations, unpredictable behaviors in autonomous systems. And of course, there are ethical concerns about accountability because as AI systems become more autonomous, the focus must shift to ethical design, human and AI collaboration, and robust oversight. So, the role of generative AI in automation, I would say, remember PALI, or simple to keep it as predictive analytics, AI analyzing your test results and predicting defects from it, leading to more efficient testing processes or intelligent insights, where AI offers data driven insights that your organizations can make informed decisions out of. Talking about the top 10 use cases of AI in testing and automation, I'm sure most of the sessions covered from yesterday and today, but you have NL, test case automation through BDD or Gherkin syntax, synthetic test data generation, visual differences analysis for UI regressions, self healing, on demand creation of data sets with PII exposure, model-based data variations to test boundary conditions, generating data for negative and exploratory testing scenarios, AI-driven baseline coverage, cross-browser, cross-device snapshots without any manual configurations, performance, pensec testing, visual AI, and you have tons of others. I have a short live demo which I'll slowly talk about in the coming slides. But when we talk about dev desktops, where do you think generative AI would fit in? Well, shift left and shift right. If we talk about shift left, you have AI generated test cases, self healing automation, intelligent code reviews. I'm sure you can be smart enough to know how you can leverage AI there. And when we talk about shift right, predict and prevent defects, AI driven resilience, or optimized CI/CD pipelines. And imagine the impact if you leverage generative AI in your dev desktops workflow. You'll have faster test creation, reduced flakiness behaviors, and proactive defect detection. The future is definitely Gen AI X test automation inside your CI/CD workflows. So the future of testing lies in AI-driven autonomy, where AI will automatically adjust your testing strategies, predict issues, and ensure resilient systems by continuously learning from the data. So keep one thing in mind: leverage AI to not just automate testing, but to augment it, empowering faster, smarter, and more reliable quality assurance. So, in short, why Gen AI and Agentic AI matter for testing and automation? From the image, the Agentic AI QA workflow looks like this. You have a test request or a trigger, like a user or a CI/CD pipeline or another system that triggers the QA process by providing inputs from one or multiple sources. Then you have a central orchestrating agent, which acts like a manager or a manager AI, let's put it in that sort. It receives the request, breaks it down into multiple tasks, and delegates them to specialized agents. And then you can have multiple specialized agents like a test data generator, an executor, a monitoring agent, or a defect analysis agent. And then you have multiple agent to agent communication like an inter agent or agent to agent collaboration. You involve humans in the loop where they are mostly in the form of reviewing the outputs that are generated from AI. And then you have a continuous learning loop where AI is learning from the feedback or the output that it generated to improve its learning and the next set of outputs that it generates. So it's essentially a multi-agent teamwork where AI unites, specializes, coordinates, and improves. Unlike the old traditional QA, where everything is manual, linear, and heavily dependent on human intervention. All right, a quick demo time. I know we are running out, but I have an impressive system or a solution that I've been working on with 20 plus agents. You can see multiple use cases, but I'll just focus on one, which is front of site quality checks. I really like this one because I have covered something which calls console errors, fetches media analysis, uh, checks for broken links, dead links, accessibility, performance, network analysis, and leverages AI to get quick suggestions, resolutions from the same. So, given that everything is powered by Lambda Test here, I have taken Lambda Test as one of the website URLs and asked it to run an analysis around the JavaScript errors and consoles. Of course, many of them are info logs, error logs, severe, or warnings, but we are using this information to pass it to AI to make some analysis out of it. So when I run the AI analysis, of course, to save time and effort, I have just run two of my mini agents, or I can say AI bots, to get some data. And while I run the AI insights across these console errors, it tells me where exactly is it finding the issues, what needs to be done in order to avoid this in future, um, what needs to be done if it's for one specific brand or for multiple brands or products. So it is learning and giving you most accurate results from it, so you can predict, analyze, improve the way you act based on this outcome. So it has given common error patterns, root cause analysis, recommendations to remediate, impact assessment on user experience, a prioritized list of critical issues, suggestions for site stability, any brand specific issues, trends over time. Of course, this was just one run, security implications, and so on and so forth. And finally, also gives you a table which summarizes all your aspects, the observations, and what it recommends. And this is just one single analysis that I ran. Likewise, I could do a media optimization analysis. I could also do a cross analysis where it gathers all the sources, all the information, all the data that it was able to analyze from each of these results, and then tell you based on each of this where exactly is the core that you need to fix. So things like this is just one simple use case that I could think of. Like this, I have listed out multiple. Many of them are functional. It's being enhanced over time. But think of the experiments, the value that you can get out of it, how you can improve, optimize, fasten your processes, and get value for your business. And quickly, so coming back quickly to our demo again, what to keep in mind for leveraging AI? Well, identify specific use cases. Like I said, begin with just simple one or two use cases where generative AI can provide tangible value. And from there, define clear objectives, select appropriate models, curate targeted data sets, start with a proof of concept, experiment on top of it, look at user feedback, iterate over it, monitor the performance metrics and various other metrics, gradually scale it to within your multiple functions within the organization and for public use. Address ethical considerations, communicate successes, learnings from it, build cross-functional expertise. Don't just limit it and work in silos. Iterative expansion, document and standardize the processes, and cultivate a learning culture. I'm sure most of this is now explanatory, so I'm not diving deep into each of this. But where is the agentic AI market insights in the next 5 to 10 years? Well, I'll just talk about until 2032. You can see the uh, compounding annual growth rate. It's touching 35.3% and growing even further. You have venture funding, which is shifting towards multiple agent platforms and quantum inspired solutions, signaling a new investment wave. And for the source, it's Navistrat Analytics. The future of automation with Gen AI, the agentic AI era, as we look towards second half of this year 2025 and beyond, the possibilities are limitless and the transformative journey is unparalleled. So let's explore some key statistics and trends that paint a vivid picture of where we are headed. If we talk about by end of 2025, the global AI market is projected to reach a staggering $310 billion, growing at an impressive CAGR of almost 38%. That's according to Grand View Research. This growth not only reflects just the adoption of AI, but also its evolution as a core driver of innovation across industries, where AI doesn't qualify as just a luxury, but more than a necessity. So think about the tools we use daily, from chatbots to advanced predictive analytics. They're not just helping businesses now, they are redefining them. And how will AI change the world by 2030? This is the next 5 years. The next leap is AI plus human synergy. Collaboration, not replacement. Humans are providing ethics, context, and creativity. AI provides scale, speed, and precision. So the skills that will matter in the agentic plus quantum era is more of like prompt mastery, context-rich queries, AI plus data literacy, interdisciplinary thinking, which is involving domain plus your technical expertise, and ethical decision making. And of course, what are the risks in the next AI wave? You have over reliance on automation, which you yourself need to be careful of by building human in the loop systems. Invest in AI governance frameworks, data privacy in quantum era, lack of human skill ups, and misaligned incentives in autonomous agents. And just in case history repeats itself, we have got you backed up with our floppy disk of quantum AI backup. So, some quick key takeaways. Generative AI has proved its value in scaling content, code, and test creation with its speed and consistency. Agentic AI operationalizes autonomy, enabling pipelines that plan, execute, and adjust with constant human intervention. Quantum and quantitative AI will expand the frontiers of testing by simulating edge cases and solving computationally intractable problems. Over the next 5 years, QA teams can save thousands of hours while increasing coverage if they adopt the right capabilities at the right time. Here are some references or resources that you can definitely use to upskill your AI knowledge. But I have one, ignore all the jokes apart. On a serious note, as you stand on the brink of your career, seize the opportunity that artificial intelligence brings you. Focus on continuous learning, enhance your skills, your knowledge, and maintain an adaptable mindset. Because the evolving landscape rewards those that are ready to grow, and your transition from an intermediate to an expert starts now. And if my previous message wasn't clear, then please note this, as I strongly believe the best automation isn't about replacing testers, it's about amplifying their intelligence. So embrace, explore, experiment, and keep innovating because the future of testing is written by those who are willing to redefine them. So, on that note, thank you so much, Lambda Test family, for having me today. It's been incredible conversing with all of you, and I'm excited to hear the questions you have. But just before we dive deep into that, if there's one thing I want you to take away from today's session, it's this: AI isn't here to replace you, it's here to amplify your potential because the future belongs to those who don't fear these tools, but rather learn to collaborate with them. So, as leaders, professionals, and innovators, our role is to embrace this transformation, upskill ourselves, and prepare for the opportunities that lie ahead. So, go embrace, explore, experiment, and innovate. Break stuff, build weird things, start side projects. Because 5 years from now, you'll either be telling your friends how AI changed your life or how you missed the wave. And I'm rooting for you to be on the winning side. So don't forget to scan the QR and stay connected with me for Tech Insights. See you all. Purnima, over to you.
Thank you so much, Siddhant. A heartfelt thank you to you for such an incredibly detail-oriented session. Right from shedding lights to the right ways to creating prompts to explaining how AI gets its accuracy from RAG and what MCP is bringing into the picture to what quantum AI would mean in the software testing world. Everything was just like beyond expectation and so insightful. Also, to our attendees, we trust that today's session has not only expanded your understanding, but also ignited a new perspective on how AI can shape your work. Apologies for not being able to take your questions today, but we would definitely like to address them in the community, Lambdatus community. So please do post them there and we shall definitely address them. Um as we continue this journey through TestMu Conference 2025, please stay engaged, ask questions, and connect with our growing community. Thank you so much, Siddhant, again for shaping your, sharing your profound insights. Thank you so much to everyone. Looking forward to seeing you in the next session next year again. Thank you so much.
Thank you all.
Thank you, everyone.